Hello there everybody, this is Reggie time, and in response to a request on my last video for me to play more lower stakes games, and I only play lower stakes games anyway, but to actually play some true micro stakes games, I'm making a 10NL snap video. I don't play snap anymore. I don't play very much on 888 at all anymore, because I believe it's not as good as it used to be, but for the purposes of making a video where the content flows, I think it's as good a place as any to make these videos. 10NL Triple Eight is it's certainly a soft enough game. It's really beatable. There's plenty of quite poor players in the games, so if you are a micro stakes speed poker player, I still think it's a very good option for you. I just personally prefer to play regular tables. Most of my play is coming from Unibet and Sky in the tail end of this year, but making videos from those sites it's not always that much fun in terms of there being plenty to talk about in a short video. That's why we're here. I don't really want to be advocating playing games that I don't play myself. I would definitely advocate for you guys to mostly look to game select when you play, but I know there are a lot of guys out there who really are just heavily into speed poker games. So even if you are into that, if you are one of those guys heavily into speed poker games, I still think there's a difference between the different sites you can play on. I believe probably for 5NL, I would say getting an under the table rake back deal is your best option on iPoker. For 10NL, because 10NL doesn't go on iPoker for some reason, I would say then move your money or move your play to probably full tilt. I would say full tilt or Triple Eight. Then I would say for 20NL, move back to iPoker, or not move. I don't mean keep moving your money around, but if you're 20NL player, I would say again under the table deal at iPoker is probably going to be the best for you. And if you're playing higher than that, well, you don't really need to watch my videos because you already know a lot of the stuff that I talk about in them. So that's how we'll go about game selecting if you were intent on playing speed poker games. I am currently playing 3 tables, but it's not aesthetically pleasing to do that for the video. It's no way I can do it without either overlapping or having like a blank quarter of the screen. So if I do get any interesting spots on the table on my second monitor, I'll be certain to move it over so we can all share in some more hands. I have kind of had a bit of a strategy shift in the way I play poker in the last maybe 2 to 3 weeks. I'm universally known as a nitty player. I have gone on record many times saying that I believe playing tight, particularly in speed poker, is definitely a decent enough strategy. But that said, we are trying to make poker fun too, and playing too tight isn't any fun for anybody. So I was kind of shifted, but I still played relatively tight ranges. I've added a few more suited connectors to my ranges, and I've also, I was going to 3-bet there, but then decided against it. I've also decided to start ramping up the aggression a little bit more post flop too. When I have equity, I've started using equity to be aggressive. I tend not to, with draws, for example, I used to try and make my draws and then start value betting. Now I'm tending to use my draws to hopefully create some forward equity to have to get in money into pots when I like my hand, when I can't really be in dreadful shape. And that was an awful min race. That was not intended. That was me just struggling over my words somewhat and getting confused. I don't think raising there's the worst play. I just think min raising's pretty terrible. That wasn't my intention. And I think we have an excellent chance to bluff catch here against Mindy's Bro. I don't think the king changed very much on the turn. There's tons of draws that I've missed there. Probably just going to check call here. And the 6 does get 9-7 there, but that's all. If he's flopped a flush, then congratulations to him. If he's somehow had a flush draw with a king in it, again, good for him, but we're going to pick it off here and expect to win the pot enough of the time. And he just had the nuts, so good on him for not actually stacking me. Sure, he could have made a little more money there. I'm sticking around here because I think I'm just going to call this short stack shove. It's close. We're calling 263 to win 363. So if we think we're coin flipping here, which I think we are a decent amount, we can call. I mean, yeah, it's going to really suck when he's like shoving the pocket sevens and things like that. But overall, I guess his range here, I think we're a flip, and we're getting a good price to flip, and we're not actually flipping, so never mind. I think there, if he had a large stack, I think folding would be the play. But when he just starts shoving for 30 blinds, I think it's absolutely fine to just sigh and flick it in there and just. I think you're going to be flipping plenty enough. Something I have been trying to do more lately is attack cut-off and button ranges when they're open. Wow, we've just been jammed on there by somebody with the chicken tag, which in my note system means that they are incredibly weak tags, so we certainly won't be getting any further involved there with our hand. And we're just going to keep betting for value here again, so if I lose, then if he happens to have a 9, well, hallelujah. Well, we were going to keep betting, now we're just going to call. Four's not ideal. Prefer this just to go check on the river. I think I'm probably going to fold if he shoves. We don't beat very much anymore. Think of the hands that he may do this with on the turn. The 4 of clubs is in. It's not ideal. If we were in front on the turn, there's a good chance that we're not anymore. And if we were in front on the turn, well, the 4 certainly has improved us. So that didn't go down as we would have liked, but never mind. And for some reason, I don't appear to be auto reloaded, which is a shame. Hopefully it will come back in a moment. Is it going to top me? Nope. 888 is really buggy lately. It's quite irritating with just how many bugs it's got. They've had an opportunity to take advantage of the problems poker sites have been having with their clients lately, with their players, and they just have not capitalised on it. I think a lot been just all this random sitting out nonsense. I think a lot of players are just looking for an alternative to stars. They want to kick stars in the ass and punish them for the way they've been taking place for granted. And there's just no site out there. It's just picked up the mantle and ran with it, and it's a big shame. Triple Eight were in a good position to be able to do that, and they've just summarily failed completely failed in taking any business from stars when stars have been possibly their most vulnerable. Make a very small 4-bet here. And Booham was disappointingly found the 4 button. Didn't really expect that at 10-0. And we're just going to no, hang on. He's limp raced under the gun. Limp min raced. I was about to jam there. I thought it was blind versus blind, but now we're just going to call and hope to smash a flop. We do not smash a flop, so now we're pretty much just done with the hand because the limp re-raise is very rarely done as a bluff. It's not something people are using as a bluff at all. So I just give maximum respect to it. I don't respect the players using the line. I think the players that use the line are usually weak players, but the line itself I respect in terms of what it represents, because I just don't believe people are doing it as a bluff very often at all. We've been raised here on a very wet board. There's a chance we're behind, but I mean, we're just way too strong to ever do anything but just raise and try and get all the money in. If he's flopped a straight or something, well, again, as we common phrase I use, hallelujah, and we get the money in good. So go us. Not going to see bet this board against 2 players with a 3-bet. I think it's not a particularly good board for us. It's going to be hard for us to be able to continue on many turns if we get called. And yep, someone bets and all we can do is fold really. Nothing much more to say about it. We have a hand off the table. This guy limped the button. I raised and then we see bet. I'm going to bet fold this turn. And I hit that river. I think I'm just going to check fold here. Every 2 pairs there, straights there, flushes are there. They're just not very often that aces are going to be good, and he checks back. And they were good. But when I say every chance they're not going to be good, I do mean that in terms of if we bet and get called. He had perhaps one of the hands that we could have maybe thought about getting some value from, but overall there, he's just going to have aces in trouble in terms of his range that's going to call any bets from me. I think it's hard to get called by worse enough of the time to justify value betting there. Interesting that there are players around that are limp calling his hands as strong as King Queen suited on the button. And it's something I've talked about recently. I don't know if someone's out there making videos encouraging incredibly passive trappy play. I'm not sure, but there seems to be a lot of players out there these days playing strong hands really, really quietly. I think it's a huge problem. Don't think it's good for them to do that. I think what they gain in deception, they're losing just flat out value. But there's enough players out there doing it for me to believe that it's actually some kind of trend rather than just, just some players randomly doing it. Someone out there must be suggesting this is a legitimate style of play. And it boggles my mind. 10-6 suited. I think he's raised just a little bit too big there to defend the 10-6. So we haven't had a chance to demonstrate one of the things I've started doing lately, which is playing draws aggressively, because we haven't flopped a draw yet, but hopefully before the end of the video we'll have the opportunity to do that. I've been giving up a lot more with my air too. Kind of been playing a lot more aggressively with draws, and just if I'm flopping complete air balls, I've just been giving up way more because of this trend for people to regularly just under-rep their hand. There's a lot of trapping going on. So if there's a lot of trapping going on, I don't really want to be c-betting my, or if I believe there is, really don't want to be c-betting my air too often. And just giving value to, or making people's like lines, if people are out there taking those lines, making their lines work for them by just doing the value betting for them when I don't have much. So I'll be giving up a lot with hands that are kind of like almost hopeless causes, and then playing really aggressively with made hands and draws. It's been working really well too. I'm really pleased with it. My results lately have been excellent. They've been the best they've been for months. And on top of that, it's just a lot more fun too. It's good fun just being like super aggro with draws and made hands and what have you, just really just splashing around a lot and getting in there, getting our hands dirty and just enjoying poker for what it is. It's a fun gambling game where we can have some kind of edge as long as we're putting ourselves in good situations. I am in the process of setting up, and depending when you're watching this, if you're watching this on the day it's released, this will be new news. If you're watching it a couple of weeks or more after the release of the video, it's very, very old news. But I am in the process of setting up a new poker message board, which is linked in the description. It's the top link in the description. The aim of the message board is to create an environment where players just like you, micro-stakes, recreational players can come along, can be part of a community, can get involved and post, ask questions, both dumb and not so dumb, without fear of reprisal. We all know that many of the poker message boards these days are quite toxic, unpleasant places to learn poker from. Some very, very good people out there willing to give lots of good free advice. There's also a bunch of, for want of a better word, asswipes who just get off on being particularly unpleasant with players who they perceive to be worse than them. And so what I'm hoping to create with my new site is an environment where you can come along and you can just chat the shit about poker. We can just come along, get involved, ask the simple questions that if you post them on a big forum you will get slaughtered for. Ask just any problems that you have where you play a hand and you think you played it badly, you can come along and post a hand without fear that you're going to get ripped to shreds by regulars with low self-esteem. Hopefully it's going to grow and grow and grow. It's something that I did start to do with, or tried to do with my Twitch channel, and I think there's definitely a place out there for what I'm trying to deliver. Twitch demonstrated that there's lots of recreational players out there who just want somewhere to go, hang out, and have fun chatting poker, kind of semi-lightheartedly, but with a wanting to improve element to it. I think there's definitely a thirst for that out there, and I don't think there's that many boards out there delivering that. I think there are some good community boards. I think the APAC board in the UK is really quite good. They've definitely got a nice community, sense of community. Sky Poker is another one that's got a nice one. But I want to try and create something that helps people improve, whilst also having a really nice community feel, where we can like play home games against each other. We can have fun. We can. I'm just thinking what to do here with the ace queen. I think we're going to call. Wouldn't be massively against folding there, but I think call is just fine. Probably going to check call this flop. So yeah, I'm hoping to do that. So if you are looking for somewhere to come along to ask the kind of questions that draw derision on other poker forums, or if you just want to expand your poker contact list, please do click the top link in the description and register for the forum. Come along, tell us a little bit about yourself, and just get involved. The more you put into your poker, the more you get out of it. We don't all want or need to be the next Ike Haxton. Some of us just want poker to be a social experience, and it still can be that on the internet. A social experience that we can actually derive some profit from too. Just to get that extra little bit of pocket money from poker. And if you can make it something even more than that in the long term, even better. But there's lots of players out there that enjoy poker for what it is, just a fun, small stakes gambling game, and they've got nowhere to really share their experiences, because a lot of the posts they want to make, a lot of the chatty, friendly, fun posts, they're not welcomed. They're classed as, that's low content bullshit, blah, blah, blah. People are downvoting things on Reddit. People are trolling people on 2+2, that type of thing. There's a lack of community feel in the online poker world, and I want to make a place where the people that want that and have a craving for that can come along and actually get that. So you'll find that in the description. Please come and join me. We still haven't had too many opportunities to get jiggy with some draws, which is unfortunate. There's still time though. I'm enjoying the session, so there's plenty of time to do that still. We have a hand off screen. I raised under the gun with ace queen. I picked up a call there, and now we're just going to go for a big value bet. If he's check call me with a good shot, then I fully accept. I have some problems, but the amount of time it's taken, I'm presuming the table's going to pop up again with a new hand, and it is. So we just took it down. Wasn't particularly interested, and we missed him folding because it was hidden behind the two tables. We didn't even get the joy of seeing him fold. We have some equity on table 2 here with our good shot, but I'd prefer to have like some kind of backdoor flush draw too. When we called in 2 spots, it's not somewhere where I'm going to be looking to build the big pot. So we're just going to check back, hopefully bink our 4-outer. With a little questioning we'll be out behind here. But it checks through twice. I am kind of motivated to just stab. Just not sure how many folds we're getting from the kind of hands I'd like players to fold. Hands like pocket 5, 7x, pocket 8, that type of thing. So actually we're not going to. Much as I'd like to bet here, I just don't think we're going to get enough folds on this board texture to make it okay. And we get min bet into. There's nothing at all we can do apart from fold and watch. And that's what went down. We would not have got folds on the turn from the jack-9 for sure, so happy with how I played the hand. Once the hand goes multi-way, I'm really not going to be getting involved in bluffing there. It's just what I was saying about earlier. I'm not really c-betting complete air these days. And yep, you could argue then that if I'm not c-betting complete air, I shouldn't be making the loose isolation raises with the 9-5 suited. But my counter argument to that, and I do feel like I'm arguing with myself here, is that we make a hand enough of the time there to make it okay. We have position, we're going to get heads up enough of the time where we can make some profitable c-bets. I think once we go multi-way, c-betting as a bluff kind of loses its appeal. Heads up there, I think we could definitely find some times to c-bet. Not all the time, we can definitely find some opportunities to c-bet though. But again, as we saw somebody limp calling a raise with ace king off suit. poker, particularly the micro stakes these days, seems to be incredibly weak type. So who knows, maybe even the really loose isolation races, maybe they're not even giving us what they used to give us. It's difficult. This is where we need notes. It's where we need stats. If we're playing on a site with stats, it's where we need to get good at using stats. It's why if we're playing on a site that doesn't have stats, where we need to be really good at making notes and describing player tendencies in the notes. We aren't going to see better here. 2 overcards, backdoor straight draw. Sorry, no backdoor straight draw. Sorry, but in fact, the more I think about this, the more I think it's probably not a c-bet because my backdoor equity just isn't up to that much. We did have the backdoor nut flush draw, but again, it's not the kind of board I think we get a ton of folds on. And we're about to get it all in off camera. Just going to value bet our flush now and shove our kings. Is there any reason to not shove there? Snaps us with ace king. And do we hold? We do hold. Go us. Lots of these boards today. Third time in a row that we've been post flop and not had any opportunity. Well, we can't see bet here anyway because we've been dunked into, but yeah. It's important not to get frustrated when boards don't cooperate. It's very important that you just remain composed, keep your head, remember your strategy, and don't go just randomly like spewing into pots just to try and win the pot. It's a trap that we can all fall into when we feel like we haven't won a pot in ages. We can just start trying too hard to win pots on boards that we wouldn't typically, when we're playing well, try and like just win pots on. Very important that when you are going through one of those spells, that you don't allow it to consume you. I've also been watching lately some very good content that's found its way to YouTube by, I think his name's Matthew Jander. Pretty sure it's Matthew Jander on 3-bet stuff. He's certainly opened my eyes to the way I play 3-bet pots. I haven't really collected my thoughts on that properly yet, but it's something I'm hoping to certainly build more into my game so I can hopefully then start adding more use to some of my videos. I know that does sound a little bit vague, appreciate that. But just in terms of the hands we can defend 3-bets versus when we're in position, and hands that we should be, the way we should be like having a 3-bet strategy pre-flop, determined by position is certainly, I think I've been doing a few things wrong with it, and I don't want to say too much more about that now because I'm not entirely sure and I'm still getting as much right as I'd like, but at the same time I'm certainly enjoying a new style. I think this is value way too often. You check back the flop, I think I can't remember how it went down now, but it's going to be value way too often to pay off with just a measly one pair. I guess I should touch on that gender comment just a little bit because it was very vague. But I was 3-betting, he's suggesting that we want to be 3-betting more when we're out of position and less in position. And I was doing the complete opposite. I was 3-betting a ton from the button in particular and also from the cutoff. And I'm much much prefer what I'm doing now, which is 3-betting pretty wide versus late position opens and just doing an awful lot of flatting in the cut-off and button. It's certainly making poker more fun for me. It's presenting me with some situations I'm not used to, which are always fun to think about. And as I said, I'm not quite sure if I'm getting everything right yet, or getting plenty right. But one thing I do know is it is a lot more fun. So yeah, if you are struggling in 3-bet pots, I would definitely recommend you in the YouTube search bar, you look for, I think it's something like optimal 3-betting. If you just put that in YouTube, you will find stuff by, I think it's Poker School TV they're called. I have no association with them, by the way, none whatsoever. I don't know if they are like pirating the videos. I have no idea if Matthew Gender's got anything to do with Poker School TV, but I do know they are making some excellent content. So definitely worth a look. We finally get a chance to play aggressively with equity on the table off camera, but it didn't work. So it did work, but if you will, it didn't create an interesting hand for us. I'll pull that back up in just a moment. Here it is. We were, you'll see in a moment. We were docked into on this board. We raised. We had 2 overs and a good shot, and we immediately got the fold. That's something I've been doing more of recently and having a great deal of fun with. It's just more fun. Poker's more fun when you're being aggressive. There seems to be lots more ways to have fun with it, more ways to win. And it's something I used to do it years ago. Pre-Black Friday, I was super aggressive. And I kind of got slowly but surely got more and more entrenched in a sort of like tight, passive sort of style. And it was getting the job done. It really was. I was making decent money, but it's just not as much fun. I mean, I think there's nothing wrong. You can play a weak, tight brand of poker and get the job done still. I firmly believe that. But it's just not as much fun as playing like a true, tight, aggressive style. That's much more fun. What's my note on Danny say? Just 20/19. I'm just going to triple barrel here. And if he's doing the whole check call with a kind of decent pocket pair type thing, like with a hand like 2 10s, 2 9s, that's everything. Well, good for him. He's probably going to end up getting 3 streets from me. But typically, when I see aggressive players take those lines, they're usually having something that they're going to check fold at some point. I think it's one of the more exploitable things when on paired boards, just being really aggressive with players that are showing weakness, particularly as the pre-flop raiser. I just think it's a license to print money in the long term. 8-10 suited, these sort of suited connectors are the kind of hands that have been added to my range lately, albeit on the softer sides of fishy games. I'm still not convinced it works in these games, but it's not going to hurt to try. We're clearly not going to stay in the hand when we get 3-bet. I'm just looking to try and play hands that flop things, that flop draws, that flop ways for us to remain aggressive. If we open a hand like, I don't know, ace jack off or ace 10 off under the gun and you get called out of position, it's hard to flop a really strong hand or something that you're comfortable playing aggressively. When you open suited connectors, there are lots of ways you can still stay in the hand in fun ways. So that's definitely something we're playing with. I'm not sure if 10-8's a little bit too weak, but it's certainly fun. It's hard to be aggressive with just kind of, a lot of the time if you're opening, I'm not saying we shouldn't be opening hands like ace jack under the gun, I think we should be, but it's more fun to open like hands that have much more like post flop playability with it in terms of flopping draws and what have you, because it's hard to remain aggressive with ace jack off when we completely brick. Whereas when we open suited connectors, quite often we'll have bits and pieces of backdoor equity we can play with that allow us to remain aggressive, much more aggressive than the offsuit high cards give us license to be. Kind of where I'm going with it. I'm still playing with it. I'm sure I'm making some mistakes. Absolutely certain I'm making some mistakes with it. But I'm making the kind of mistakes that are fun to make. Because you go ahead and you look at how you play that hand and it just gives you lots to think about. And it's interesting. It's certainly made me and my overall poker experience a lot more fun in the last few weeks. And again, we've been limp min raised. Again, we've got the kind of hand where we could be severely dominated, but it's such a good price to call. I mean, we might end up just getting in some kind of trouble here. I'm just going to try and keep control of the pot. I thought this might be coming. I really hate this spot. I'm just going to presume this villain's just got two aces, two kings, and just playing it in a really bad fashion. I'm just going to fold. The amount of times I've just fall for that spot and they just turn up with exactly what you know they've got. Two aces, two kings, that type of thing. The limp min raise and then the check. Nearly always like limp min raise going for a check raise and really excessively going for the trap. And yeah, I just refuse to pay them off these days. There I thought hoping to get to showdown with it or improve to trips or something. And when I don't do that, I'm just not going to pay off that line there. And if he's bluffing, well, hallelujah. Congratulations to him. He's ready to take me off a hand. Good deal. So we are going to sit out next blind at all our tables. The video's reached the 30-odd minute mark, which tends to be the point where people tend to say, no, much longer than this and it's too long. We don't have time to watch them all and people never come back to like watch the end of a video, so maybe gone a little too long, but I've been enjoying myself. So I hope you have got something from the video. I hope you guys that were looking forward to seeing some content in the games you play have enjoyed seeing 10-0 being played. It's not something you see very often online in videos these days. So I hope you've enjoyed that. And please do check out my new forum. That's the top link in the description. Please do come along and get involved in the chat. Get involved in the community and just put something into it. Just come along, introduce yourself, have fun. Couldn't bother waiting for him there because he's wanting to wrap the video up now because I've run out of things to say. So we're going to set mine with our threes and then we're going to call it a day. Value hitter. Oh, come on, value hitter, get the hell on. Hitler, is it? Value Hitler, sorry. Charming name. I'm probably just going to, just for the sake of entertainment at the end of the video, I'm just going to 3-bet the threes here and stack off with them against someone who doesn't have many chips. Just to try and end the video with a bit of a flourish. And we lose the flip. Never mind that. That's life. Oh, we didn't make the 3. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll catch you all real soon. Probably in the middle of the week with another group chat video. But for now, I'll see you all soon. Goodbye. Take care.